All right, so we're in the cockpit here. We got the engine just started. So we've got the key down here. Starts the engine. We see the brake light is on, right? So that brake light is responding to the air pressure, right? So you've got a front air pressure and a back air pressure. Once that reaches 75, you can see that brake light stays on when the unit has the parking brake on, but the little indicator next to it goes off, right? So those details are there. Looking at your gauges, you've got a gauge here for your fuel, and then below that is your DEF. So we'll talk about those pieces. We've got the details on oil pressure. We have details here on the batteries and the life of those batteries and the different details there. That'll kind of toggle back and forth as different charges going. And then we talked about the air pressure details below here. All of this, normal AC stuff, normal details for radio, different information for just the requirements of the RV, right? So you've got the wipers here, push those on, tap that up, make it go faster. We've got the fans that are located in the upper corners here. Once those fans are turned on, that will go there. You have a nozzle button here that adjusts the horn. So you've got kind of a city horn, which is a little bit lighter than kind of that truck horn that's included. We've got something for the radio, and then we also have this aux start button. That aux start button is made for the ability to start the RV if your chassis batteries are dead. So the chassis batteries are the batteries that are associated with the engine itself, but you can use your house batteries to start that. So that's a situation where you're holding this aux start down and turning that key to get that cranked up and going. Some additional details: engine brake. I'll talk a little bit about how I use that. The sunshade, the nightshade. So those are all pieces here. You can see the sunshade there. You can see the nightshade. Those are all brand new actually. And then you've got the generator start, and then you've got a couple of outlets here that just give you some power. The step cover. So when you're driving, you'll put the step cover out. So this is just a small function here that actually covers up the steps so nobody falls down into that. It also keeps the door a little bit more secure. I always recommend that you lock the door when you do that. You can see the fire extinguisher there that's ready to go, but that step cover kind of locks in to those parts as well when we do that. So just looking at the details here, just basic speedo, basic RPM. Those are things that you'll manage as you're driving, right? And there's also the ability to turn the cruise control on with a flip of the switch to turn that on, and then you can adjust this button to get the speed that you desire. Diesel engines are going to have the hot and cold, right? So this is going to be monitored pretty regularly, right? It's one of the top dials that you look at. What's the temperature of the engine? If it approaches any of the hot side for any reason, which it really shouldn't, because the coolant's all been checked, and actually we replaced a fan clutch on it, so that fan clutch is now working properly. So this actually runs really cool and nice now. Below that is the turbo. So this is going to show you the turbo on the Cummins diesel. So it's a 6.7 liter Cummins turbo diesel that'll be running on that. So that's how that works. You've got your lights, right? So toggle your parking lights on, toggle your normal lights on. If you want brighter house lights, you can do that as well. This is the parking brake. I'll show you kind of all those functions for getting everything moving and getting everything going. You've got your mirror mover, right? So you can toggle between the right and the left, and then you can adjust those mirrors as you want. You can see the mirrors here. What I like about these mirrors is that you've got a really nice view, right? So you can really see what's going on next to you. And then also you have the kind of far away view, the bird's eye view as well. And what I found in this is that when I see a car next to me and they come into view on this bird's eye view on the bottom, I know that it's time to pass either to the right or to the left. So both those mirrors do a really nice job of giving me an overview of exactly what's happening. Again, you've got a good view range here. As you look to the right and the left, you have the ability to see out of those mirrors really nicely. So this is a a vehicle that comes with the Allison transmission. So once you move out, once you adjust the parking brake, push that down, you will have the ability to go into neutral drive or reverse. And you also have the ability to toggle these up or down, right? So when you're going down a major hill, like I'm talking, pretty significant hill in Colorado where you're going to be on the brakes most of the time, you can actually shift this down, and this will actually hold the gear that you're in, right? So if you get into third or fourth gear on a big hill, you can take your foot off the gas and the brake, and it'll cruise pretty well. It'll stay, the RPMs will go up, and it'll stay between 2,500 and 3,000 RPMs, and it'll give you actually a nice smooth ride down the hill without any of the expectations of riding the brakes, getting your brakes too hot, anything from that perspective. Again, these are air brakes, so they're dependent on air to make them work. The equalizer system here is just going to be your auto level when you stop. So you're going to turn the power on, push the power button. It's going to give you some details on what's going on. If you don't have the parking brake on, if you have the ignition on, you can't turn those things on. If you're on excess slope, and these are really sensitive, right? They really when the levelers go down, there's 4 of them. When those levelers go down, they do a good job of leveling the vehicle, but there will be times where that excess slope will flash, and it's not going to be always super level depending on where you are. Again, a lot depends on the campground and the site that you've decided on, but you can adjust these. So you can do the auto level, which will get everything moving, and you can do the all retract, which gets everything going, right? So from my perspective, once I get this, once I go through this, I power this up, and I do the all retract, right, to get everything going, right, and it's going to tell me it's operating, it's got the ignition on. I do that just 1 or 2 times to make sure that everything is up before I move through the process of getting the RV running, right? So now that that's done, it's going to tell you the ignition is on, right? So I'm just going to turn the power off on that, right? So we're going to go outside real quick and just do a quick walk around of what you're going to be looking for when you're looking to make sure you're ready to go, right? So what's interesting here, and I can show you kind of a before and after, right? So you can see the lift that is exhibited on these tires, right? There's an air ride that's a part of this ride, and if those tires don't have this depth between them, about a fist of depth, that will be an indication that you are not ready to go. The air ride is not inflated, and if you try to drive with the air ride down, you're going to be in a really interesting situation going down the road, because you will be bouncing up and down all over the place, right? One of the other things that I always do when I walk through is I just pull on the underside of each of these just to make sure that they're shut, and if you want them locked, you can have them locked. But again, I'm also going to check that each of these are elevated, about that fist length, and go check that as well. Walk around the back, it's a little loud. But again, just kind of coming to this side, we're going to check to see that these are up off of the rims, right? And again, you'll do these small checks to really examine what's going on and make sure that all of these are shut. If they're not shut, some of them can pop open, and you'll rip them apart, and that'll be an issue, right? So again, that fist length, fist width will be part of that process, and just checking to see that that's closed as well. So we got the generator that's in this front component here. So you'll run the generator really at any time that you really want to run the generator, but that's going to give you power to the rest of the unit and the rest of the RV, and get you going there. So that's the first overview of getting started.